Apple's AirTags are being used to steal possessions, to hijack cars, and even to follow people home.
So, I'm going to explain everything you need to know, and then I'm going to actually use one to stalk someone myself. So, just in case you didn't know, Apple released AirTags in 2021. They're these tiny little chips that you can attach onto all of your key belongings to track where they are, and they're pretty phenomenal. They only cost $29, or you can get a 4-pack for $99, which makes them $25 a pop. They're extremely discreet, can attach onto almost anything and fit almost anywhere, and most importantly, they can track across the globe with almost pinpoint accuracy. Here's the problem though. All the things that make AirTags the perfect tool to keep track of your belongings also make them an enticing tool for criminals.
So let's test it. This is Josh, my camera guy. I'm going to slip an AirTag into his coat pocket. I'll give him 10 minutes to run as far away as he possibly can and to hide in as obscure a location as possible. And then we'll see if the AirTag leads me to him. So, 10 minutes starts now.
Now, you could argue that all the problems people are facing with these AirTags stem from how they're made. See, this might look like a simple plastic and steel button, but inside is a speaker, antennae, Bluetooth chip, Apple's custom-made U1 chipset, and a replaceable battery. And you might be thinking, I didn't mention GPS. Surely this uses GPS. That's how you get location data, right? But no, the reason Apple has managed to make AirTags so inexpensive, and the reason that this one battery can push out an entire year of continuous use, is that AirTags don't need to communicate with the networks directly. They're built to piggyback off the GPS and signal of other Apple products. All the AirTags need to do is to send out a continuous Bluetooth signal. And that Bluetooth signal can be picked up by not just your iPhone and your MacBook, but anyone's iPhone or MacBook. So, whichever Apple device is closest to it, it'll use that device's location to figure out where it is, and then use that device's signal to send that info back to you.
So let's say that I'm walking around with my AirTag in one hand and my iPhone in the other. Because there's an iPhone right next to it, this AirTag will always be displaying its exact location using that iPhone signal. But even if I'm using an Android device, the tracking still works, because every time I come within about 30 feet of even someone else's Apple device, this will be able to use that to update my position. So I'm walking past a building, for example, there's a pretty good chance that on the other side of this wall, there is someone using an Apple product. And that's all it needs.
So, hopefully you're starting to see why AirTags are becoming such a controversy. Imagine this scenario. You spent your whole life working so that you can afford to buy yourself a really nice car. But one day you're driving this nice car around and someone else decides that they like it too. So they grab an AirTag, stick it into your car exhaust, and then all of a sudden, theoretically for up to a year, because that's how long the battery lasts, they'll be able to see exactly which shops you're going into, which restaurants you're eating in, and most importantly, where you live, and where you park this extremely nice, valuable vehicle. And think, how easy is it to slap one of these on a car? I could put one here, I could put one here, I could put one here. It might as well be invisible. And also remember that as someone approaches an AirTag that they've planted, it's not just that they can use Bluetooth technology to get a rough area that it's in, they can use ultra-wideband technology, thanks to the U1 chip on this AirTag, to literally get pointed directions right up until they're on top of it. This is actually happening. People have reported finding AirTags inside their vehicles, behind their number plates, and probably the most disturbing, even in their coat pockets after walking home at night. Was someone following them? And hey, if you want to follow the latest tech news, then a sub to the channel would be Tag Tickle. I'll let myself out. Now, to give Apple some credit, they have been updating AirTags with features to try and prevent them from being used maliciously. And these features do limit what could have otherwise been a bit of a privacy nightmare. Like for example, if an AirTag has been separated from the account that it's registered to, then at some random time between 8 and 24 hours after that separation happens, it will now start using its inbuilt speaker to beep continuously. Like this. So if someone is being unknowingly stalked, then this will obviously draw their attention to that fact. It's a great attempt by Apple, but it's not really a solution because, would you believe it, people are now selling silent AirTags which have had their speakers removed. But also, if you randomly find an AirTag that you don't recognize, you can hold it against the back of almost any smartphone and it will show you the serial number of it. Which means that even though it's not exactly going to give you their full name and Escobar Cash login details, there is some traceability in the system. Plus, if you own an iPhone and someone is tracking you, because your iPhone will be the device that's giving the AirTag its location, it will eventually realize that the AirTag has been following you for a while, and so can send you a notification just to let you know. In my testing though, this is a bit unreliable. Like a few times I've purposefully tried to leave the house with one of my AirTags and an iPhone that's registered to someone else. Sometimes I'll get the notification, other times I won't.
If you do get this notification though, then the official advice is do not go home, because it will lead whoever is following you right to your doorstep. Instead, try to go to a police station, try to find the tracker and hand it to them, so hopefully they can work with Apple to find out who put it there in the first place. And if you get this notification while you're, let's say, walking alone, then immediately stop what you're doing and check your pockets. And if you happen to find an AirTag on you, then remove the battery by twisting the back cover and taking it out. That way you can kind of stop the tracking in action, but it also means you can keep the AirTag to then report it to the police later on.
The situation gets even murkier if you have an Android phone though, because obviously Apple doesn't own Android, they can't force Google to passively scan for AirTags, and so apart from that AirTag alarm after 8 to 24 hours, the only way to know if you're being followed is to head to the Play Store, download their Android app called Tracker Detect, and then actively select the option to scan for trackers. And to be really honest, I don't see how it's useful. I mean, for starters, Apple's not exactly advertising this app, and so even though there are over 3 billion Android users, it looks like only 100,000 or so are using this, or in other words, 0.003%. And for this extreme minority who are using it, they're not rating it very highly, probably for the simple fact that the app doesn't work in the background. If you have to be on the app for the app to pick up trackers, then surely the only time you'd think to actively check is if you actually found an AirTag on you. But then if you did, all the app would tell you is, yeah, you have an AirTag on you. And even with that limitation, it still only works in some situations. Like if I'm just sitting here, I have 4 AirTags on the table, this can't pick up anything. But okay, all this leads us to the big question. This whole tracker scandal, who is actually to blame? Because this is scary stuff, yes, but the truth of it is, item trackers have existed well before Apple made one. Tile has been making them since 2012, and to be honest, their trackers don't have as many safety features as Apple's do. But I guess the reason that AirTags in particular are causing such a stir is 2 things. It's A, the fact that unlike Tile, whose tags can access a web of say 30 million total devices to report their location with, Apple's AirTags can access a finding network of every Apple device in existence. So 1.5 billion devices, making them shockingly accurate and improving all the time as more and more people enter the Apple ecosystem. And B, the fact that whilst professional tracking gear has been available for ages, Apple has brought that level of precision to an entry-level price point. They've made it incredibly easy for someone to track you, and they're popularizing a genre of gadgets for which malicious use is prolific. So on one hand, yes, this whole stalking issue wouldn't have been as much of a problem if Apple hadn't entered the market. But then, is it their fault that their product does a better job than others?
Alright, so our 10 minutes are up. You can see that while I'm here on the map, he was last seen somewhere around here. But the cool and slightly scary thing about this is that I should just be able to tap for directions, and that will lead me to him. Nothing like a nice little stalky stroll to wake you up in the morning. Apparently I am 1 minute away. He should be just round this corner. There he is. He's there. What is that? Josh, 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 hey.
Found me.
Were you in the private shop? That was scarily accurate, but I guess what's even more concerning is the fact that he had no way of knowing that I knew where he was. Like, he used an Android phone, so he wouldn't have got one of those notifications. It hadn't been 24 hours, so the AirTag wouldn't have started bleeping. I could have followed him home. Now, even if you never in your life get tracked by an AirTag, I guarantee that at some point you will be being tracked through what you do online. And because of this, you might know that out of the 4 monthly subscriptions that I have going on right now, which are Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify Premium, and Surfrock VPN, Surfrock is by far my most used and my cheapest. It's not $10 or $5, it is $2.49 a month, which split between the 7 people I share it with ends up as 36 cents a person. And that 36 cents gets me better prices for products that use browser cookies to try to make things more expensive for me. 2, access to the full internet, including sites that are blocked by my region, like TV shows from another country. And 3, anonymity. Every minute that you spend online, companies are recording who you are and what you're doing. And even if those companies don't have any nefarious intentions for that data, when there's a data breach, it can fall into the hands of someone who does. So, give it a go. And if you hit the link in the description and use code BOSS, then you not just get it for that $249 a month price, but you will also get 3 months for free on top of that. And it's fully refundable if you don't like it.
To find out if you're being watched as well as followed, check out my video all about the spy cam epidemic. Or to find out about the Wild West that is NFTs, that video is right here. My name is Aaron. This is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I will catch you in the next one.